When was the last time you flew in a rocket? And when? Bear with me, because I have a good reasons to believe we're flying one right now. React Native, from the beginning, was built with productivity in mind. We ship apps to 2, 3, or even more platforms from a single code base. With fast refresh, we click save on a file and see the results on the screen instantly. We can fix bugs in production using over-the-air updates by using a single command instead of waiting hours or days for the review. Have JavaScript running on a mobile app, rendering truly native views. How cool is that? React Native quickly proved that it can take off the ground. It proved that you can use it to build great quality, true native mobile apps. But it wasn't as it is today from the liftoff. I work at React Native core team at Facebook when the project started over 10 years ago, and I remember it all. Performance wasn't great. The asynchronous bridge has its issues. You had to debug through some tab open in the Chrome browser. And native modules or animations just wasn't perfect either. Bridge, Chrome debugger, native module systems, those were important pieces that accelerated React Native at the beginning. But in the long run, they were just slowing us down. And just like rocket boosters, without fuel, are dead weight. We had to let them go. We swapped JSC for Hermes. We adopted new architecture, get rid of the bridge. We swapped the Chrome debugger to proper DevTools. At Software Mention, we built libraries like Reanimated, Gesture Handler, and Screens to fill the gaps in native navigation, animations, and interactions. And while doing all that, while flying this rocket, completely unaware, we built a perfect environment for the next era of building software, for the AI. AI is the second stage booster that gives us all a huge acceleration in productivity. We just need to point it in the right way. So if we were building Swift or Kotlin app 2 years ago, this is how your typical iteration would look like. So you would spend some time coding, and then you would build the app, maybe go get a coffee while it's building, and then check if it works and if it looks the way it was supposed to. So we repeat that over and over, working on a single task in the future. But now with AI, the proportions are changing. Coding is no longer the dominant part. AI splits out thousands of lines of code within a second. The bottleneck becomes the verifying part, which we'll address later in the talk, and also the building, but not in React Native. With the fast refresh, we can just get the updates instantly on a screen. So you have fast refresh, and your AI agent has it too, can use it too. So fast refresh in the AI era matters more than ever before. Say you already publish your app, and it's in the store. You often start planning the next releases and updates. So you'd spend some time on working on new features, or fixing bugs, or improving the quality of your app. And once you have your version ready to submit, you submit it to the App Store or to the Google Play Store. And then it may take hours or days to review, and even more time before the users actually get the app installed. Finally, you can collect the feedback from the users and start this process all over. But with AI, we see that it is much easier to contribute, and in most of the projects, the pace of those sprints has increased. So you are now ready to send updates more often, and again, the publishing step becomes a bottleneck all of a sudden. But not in React Native. We can publish a lot of the updates over the air using a single command. So we're back to our React Native rocket, accelerated by AI. But as you may know, it is a special kind of a rocket, because we can moderate it, we can swap out parts as we move along. This is not typical for rockets, right? So let's now take a look how we at Software Mention improved this rocket since the last App.js last year. Some time ago, we started thinking, what's a good new library that we can build for React Native? we quickly figured that building libraries is not necessarily where we can make the biggest impact. With so many people at Software Mention having a ton of expertise in React Native, we thought that we're in a very good position to not just improve the libraries for our users, but to improve React Native core for everyone. Building libraries is cool, and you get this quick gratification. You publish the new package, and you get thousands of likes on Twitter. While contributing and maintaining the core may not be perceived as too exciting. So we have a few folks from the React Native core team on the audience today. So please give them a round of applause for their hard work on keeping this rocket flying. In the past year, we set up a special collaboration with Meta and the React Native team that allowed us to contribute more. So in the past 12 months, our team at Software Mention landed over 280 commits to React Native across many different projects. So let's see some highlights. So while we haven't contributed directly to Hermes, at least not significantly, we had helped in setting up the build infrastructure and the opt-in mechanism for Hermes v1. A year ago, Hermes v1 was the only actively maintained version of Hermes, while people in the community were using a dated and unmaintained version. Hermes v1 brings a ton of improvements, and as it is actively maintained, we should expect more improvements in the future. So it was obvious that we wanted to have this for everyone to use. We helped bring Hermes to the open source initially as an opt-in in version 82, and eventually as the default engine in 84. The shared animation backend project aims to bring some parts of from Reanimated and parts and ideas from Reanimated into React Native. This way, it allows us to optimize the animation engine as it now lives closer to Fabric and can integrate with parts of the renderer that just wasn't accessible from the outside. The best part of it is it doesn't just make Reanimated better, it also is used by the original React Native Animated and unlocks new possibilities in the future. Finally, the stability projects. Last year at App.js, Alex Hunt presented the results of the JS Stable API projects. In a sense, it allows us to extract a complete API surface as one TypeScript definition file. This way, allowing us to have more control what should be public or private in the interface, and also understand when a change that we land in the core can be breaking. A few months ago, we started working on ideologically similar thing for the C++ API. We're at the stage where we have a complete definition of the whole React Native C++ API surface, with a goal of reducing it to minimum that is necessary for libraries and out-of-tree platforms. This will help us avoid breakages for libraries or projects like React Native for Vega OS, while we move towards React Native 1.0. Of course, you cannot use React Native without a framework. We've been working with Expo for many years now. Nowhere it is more visible than right here at the conference that we've been running together with Expo since 2019. So let's take a look at our team's contributions to Expo. In the past 12 months, we landed over 750 commits to Expo monorepo across many different projects, smaller modules. So here's like the overview of the different projects that we contributed to, but let's also discuss some highlights. Expo Brownfield is a library and CLI that streamlines the process of incorporating Expo into React Native Brownfield apps, meaning apps that weren't started as a fresh React Native project or Expo project, but want to add React Native and Expo to their existing native code base. Expo Widgets lets you render platform-native widgets using Expo UI components. You can render widgets for home screen, for live activities, or for the dynamic island. And finally, we work on improving the Expo module's core system for Android, both in terms of build time, where we see over 60% reduction in the build time, and also in the runtime, where improvements speed up the startup by 20 to 30%. Of course, while contributing to React Native and Expo, we're not abandoning our own libraries, and we are not stopping working on new ideas. Last year, we published a major release, Reanimated 4, that among other things added support for a new CSS compatible animations and transitions API. Later, we extracted worklets from Reanimated, allowing for worklets to be easily used in context of other than animations. We also added bundle mode to worklets. Yesterday, we published version 4.4 that adds core animation support to CSS animations in Reanimated. It allows for a number of commonly used animation types to be offloaded from the UI thread to a renderer server, making the app feel smooth even under heavy load. And we're also working on CSS pseudo-selectors support that just didn't make the cut this time, but will be available soon. React Native Screens is an unsung hero of the navigation libraries. So whenever you're using React Navigation or Explorer, the native navigation components are provided by Screens. Screens makes it possible to use native stack, tabs, or models. Last year, we spent a lot of time bringing in support for all the new features that were brought by the iOS 26. But we don't stop there. We added support for more APIs, like the bottom accessory and the split view. Listen to Casper talk in the afternoon today to learn more about screens. Detour is our open source and free service recent project that helps with handling deferred links. When you open a deep link on your phone, it navigates to your app, and then the app can handle it from there. But if the user doesn't have the app installed, the link is lost. Detour helps with handling such links, so it provides open source SDK and free service to help users reach the right screen when they eventually install your app. You may have seen this Jelly slider demo before. We built it with TypeGPU, and it was even featured on Google I/O last week. TypeGPU enhances WebGPU via TypeScript. But it isn't just adding types to WebGPU APIs. It's much more. It uses TypeScript to extract the data shapes when communicating with the GPU, reducing the boilerplate and risk of data and misalignment. It even allows you to write shaders in TypeScript. Recently, we added first-party support for React and React Native. So you will hear more about it in the afternoon from Ivo, and maybe even sooner. And Redshift is a family of libraries that support rich text rendering and editing. It supports all sorts of crazy features like the GitHub flavored formatting, mentions, LaTeX, and more. If you need this sort of component in your app, you can go wrong with Enriched. And finally, Aaron Repo. It isn't actually a library, but a configuration plugin. It improves build speed of your app by injecting into the build pipeline. So when you use some libraries in your app, Aaron Repo plugin swaps the build process such that instead of building the libraries from the source code, it uses a pre-built libraries that we host on Maven. Aaron Repo just went out of beta, and if you're using Expo, it just takes one line to use it, so I encourage you to try it. Finally, in the last part, I wanted to talk about the AI-specific improvements that AI-specific investments that we're making in the React Native space. React Native Executors is a library that allows you to run local models in React Native. It supports all sorts of different models, from language models, vision models, multimodal models. And I know that there is a common perception that local models aren't very good. They will never be as good as the state-of-the-art models from the major libraries, labs, but they improve at a similar pace. So local models that you can run today are much better than the ones available a year ago. And specifically for when you have very specific needs and can adjust the model to your needs, they are really good in many cases. But you don't need to trust me actually on that. You can just try the app that we published last year. It's called Private Mind. This is an app that's available on the App Store and Google Play Store. And just try it. It showcases the React Native executors. You can run different models. It's basically it works like as a clone of like a chat app. So you can test all those features there and test different local models. Finally, and the last project is Argent. Argent is a tool that allows your AI agent, whenever it's Claude Code, Codex, or Cursor, to autonomously iterate on complex mobile development tasks. It isn't just about controlling the device or taking screenshots. It can inspect the view hierarchy, notice and understand errors, read logs, access the debugger, profile native code, profile and analyze data from the React profiler, and also can see the network activity coming from your app. It is a tool that almost every mobile engineer at Software Mansion adopted on day one, and also one of our fastest growing new projects. I personally use it every day. It is very good. You should try it. I'm really proud of the work that we've done in the past year and what the team shipped in the past year. We're very lucky to be in a position where we can contribute so much to the community. And as a software house and consultancy, the work that we do for our clients is what lets us understand where we can make the impact. It is that work that it is thanks to that work that we can have first-hand experience using the tools we are building, and it is thanks to our clients that we can fund this work. In the past year, we had worked with over 100 different clients, and I wanted to at least showcase a few. We are honored to work with so many awesome, forward-thinking companies and people. Those are just a few highlights, but we have a bunch more people from the companies that we work with today at the audience, so I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. One more thing. It wouldn't be App.js without new releases. And so today, we're proudly presenting version 3 of Gesture Handler. This is a major release, first one after 2 years. It's built with the new architecture in mind, allowing for more ergonomic APIs from the user perspective and better performance. It ships with revamped buttons components that better incorporates the native platform behavior. And it has a straightforward migration path from V2 or even V1. So if your app uses Gesture Handler directly, you can easily benefit from updating even today. And if you are not using Gesture Handler directly in your app, I still recommend you check out the buttons components as they are great alternative to touchable or pressable from React Native. And there is something more. So last thing for today is another launch, and we finally are launching our own bottom sheet library. You can install it from as double mentioned React Native bottom sheet, and it is a bottom sheet library that just works. It has feature compatibility with the beloved bottom sheet from Gorham. The main idea behind our approach was to build the bottom sheet using platform native primitives, while making it very customizable. So it hides all of the complexity around scrollable or resizable content, and it can work in inline or modal modes. The bottom sheet was built in collaboration with Gobi, which app's recording you're watching right now. Yeah. This is everything that I have for today. Thank you.